there's a lot of talk, whether it's about cryptocurrency, whether it's about uranium, commodities, gold, silver, everybody's saying, what is the place that is most compelling right now to be investing in? And today, my guest is going to be talking about something that's incredibly undervalued that no one's talking about. And no, it's not what you think. It's not going to be Bitcoin. It's not going to be gold. It's not going to be silver. It's not going to be uranium. And this can be a fascinating conversation. So make sure you hit the like button on this video to send it out in the YouTube universe. Give us a comment down below to send this video out into the YouTube universe. Today's guest is my good friend, Steve Penny. He is the creator of the Silver Chartist newsletter. It's the best free gold, silver, commodities, and macroeconomic newsletter that it's out there. It's free. And I highly suggest that you go ahead and you sign up for that. You can also learn more about today's conversation on the free newsletter as well. That's the Silver Chartist newsletter. The link to it is pinned to the comments and in the description. Right there down below in the description of this video and pinned to the comments is a link to sign up to the Silver Chartist newsletter. We'll give a shout out to our sponsor, Vizsla Silver, one of our favorite silver and gold mining stocks. So thank you, Vizsla Silver. And it's good to see you, Steve.
You bet, Jake. It's been too long. Always fun to connect with you and talk to your audience. So thanks for inviting me on again.
Yes. So you were saying you wanted to talk about something that was extremely undervalued and where you've really been researching a lot lately. And you said, no, it's not gold. No, it's not silver. No, it's not uranium. No, it's not this or that. So what has the attention of the Silver Chartist newsletter right now?
Yeah. So we're laser focused on silver, uranium, and gold, as I feel like those represent the most favorable risk reward opportunities over the next few years. However, there's a couple other things we're looking at very closely. One is battery metals and also platinum. When you pull up a ratio chart for platinum, it is just undervalued relative to almost everything, and you can make a very compelling case that it's the most undervalued of all the commodities. So I think spending a few minutes to talk about platinum and the potential speculative opportunity here is worth the time.
So give us a look at some of the Steve prepared some slides, some images. So this is going to be a great conversation.
Yeah, I feel like a picture is worth 1,000 words. So right here is a chart just comparing commodities versus general equities. And this chart goes all the way back to 1980. And you see March 2020, if you guys can see that on the screen right there, marked a historic low, what I believe is going to be a historic low in this ratio. In other words, commodities have never been so undervalued relative to stocks, at least in close to 100 years. So that presents opportunity. Now, you can drill down further. This is a basket of commodities we're looking at. So the next question that I ask myself is, what are the most undervalued commodities? And of course, silver, uranium, and gold fall into that mix, but also platinum. Platinum is roughly 30 times more rare than gold, and it's typically historically trades at a premium to gold. In other words, platinum is usually more expensive than gold. But right now we see gold up at $1,800 and platinum hovering near $1,000. So it's almost half the price of gold. And this is a historic anomaly that really has never been seen before. We're just coming off of this low in late 2021, where platinum has never been so undervalued relative to gold ever. And we're bouncing nicely here. We broke out of this pattern and now we're back testing it. So I think platinum is really presenting a compelling opportunity for those who have a little bit of a higher risk tolerance. I think silver, uranium, and gold are probably safer plays, but platinum, if it goes, it's really going to go. And I think we're seeing a very compelling entry point right here. Now, if you compare platinum to silver, it's even more undervalued. Now, silver is ridiculously undervalued. It's the only commodity on the planet that I know of that's still trading below its 1980 high. And not only just a little bit below its 1980 high, but it's like half of where it was 40 years ago. That's silver. Well, look at platinum. If the platinum to silver ratio returns to where it was back at this peak year in the early 2000s, that would mean platinum could potentially outperform silver by 3 or 4, even 5-fold over the next few years. And what's interesting about platinum is there's very few quality mining stocks to even get exposure to it. There's only a small handful that I can count on one hand how many platinum mining stocks I would personally own. And we talk about that in our newsletter. But so it can be challenging to invest in platinum, but it's a compelling opportunity for those with the risk tolerance and who are interested in speculating with a small part of your portfolio. And then, of course, you can see the platinum chart here. This is carving out a nice bottom just above this support. But that's really all the slides I wanted to show. But yeah, platinum is looking very compelling here.
That's amazing to see how undervalued it is compared to silver. So for those that are interested, Steve said that that's a new area of focus to add on to the repertoire that Silver Chartist has been looking at. He said there's about a handful of platinum stocks that he would even consider owning. So Steve's free newsletter is right there down below in the description and pinned to the comments to sign up. Now, what are the driving factors for platinum? Is it something that will follow precious metals? Does it move with commodities? What are the things that will move it higher?
Yeah, that's such a good question. And that's why platinum I consider to be more risky than silver and gold, because silver and gold have a monetary component, and we're heading into a currency crisis. I think everyone knows that. So those are much safer bets from my perspective. Platinum is almost exclusively an industrial metal. So if we see a big economic downturn, which I think a lot of us would not be surprised to see, platinum could get hit in the short term as well. But the four investment drivers are vehicles, specifically fuel cells. That's a fuel cell electric vehicles is a new growth component for platinum. It's also used in catalytic converters. And then roughly 25% of the demand comes from investment demand. And you've also got other industrial applications.
Yeah, you talked about the currency crisis. This is something obviously you and I have been talking about long before it really started making its head popping out of the ground like a whack-a-mole that won't go back in anymore. Mm-hmm. And what really struck me, though, that maybe I even was understating it, was this last week, I was helping my mother-in-law just look around for some cars, and then an employee for one of my businesses, potentially for a rental here where I live. And I was shocked at how much prices in rentals and how expensive cars actually were. And more importantly, how little availability there was in them. I mean, we all are seeing this incredible move in prices of everything, an incredible shortage in almost anything. And when you strap on the shop mandates, I don't think anybody realizes how destroyed and already destroyed labor market and supply chain once these shop mandates kick in. Regardless of what your opinion about it, it's literally going to be economic suicide in the highest order. And I want to know, what's your opinion on what's happening on this incredible move in inflation, supply chain disruptions, the state of where we're at. You and I have harped on this macro theme for the better part of 2 years since you created Silver Chartist and we started talking weekly, monthly. So what's your take on everything that's happening? Where do you think we're headed? And is it surreal for someone like you that's been studying and watching this for a decade to see it coming maybe even more so extreme than maybe you originally envisioned?
Yeah, that's such a great synopsis there. And the word surreal is really how I feel. I've been expecting this for 10 years now. So none of this is really surprising, but what is surprising is the pace at which it's happening. And, and how it's even accelerating. The trend is certainly accelerating. And I think what saddens me is that I see a lot of people focusing on the problems and things that they have no control over. Unfortunately, you and I have no influence over what happens in Washington, very little, if any. So I would say focus on what you can control. Supply chain disruptions, I think it's a trend that's going to continue. Unfortunately, it's only going to get worse. The inflation story is only going to get worse in the years ahead, with bouts of short deflationary impulses along the way. So, focus on what you can control. And there's certainly some practical preparedness steps that we can all take. Silver and gold is one part of it, but it's not a panacea cure-all for all of the problems.
To be honest, my philosophy is just, what are the things that have the most attractive asymmetrical returns, especially in the commodity space where we can look at supply and demand and
Right.
saying, how do I amass as much money as I possibly
Yeah.
can in the quickest period of time before social, politically, economically, uh, the deterioration hits the mass public? Because once there's that psychological phenomena, whether it's in a currency crisis or a supply chain crisis, once the mass, we saw that with toilet paper. Historically, this always happens in currency crisis environments too, as the currency becomes a hot potato. And so, what would you say are the areas of focus for you and for Silver Chartist on that front? Because I know there's a lot of listeners that also agree, hey, there's not a lot of this that I can control, but one of
Right.
them is the freedom and financial security of myself and my family and my friends right now.
Mhm.
And there's some great opportunities. So, how would you rate those? What's the strategy you guys are laying down in Silver
Yep.
Chartist?
Yep. Great question. So first of all, I think one thing you said there separates our community, our groups, your listeners apart from of the investing public is that we're not looking to get rich so we can go buy Lambos and boats and jet skis and all this. No, no, we want to amass as much purchasing power as we can so that we can use it, to prepare our families and be a blessing to our friend, our community, those are that are our loved ones. Silver Chartists, I've said this before, but our purpose is helping people achieve time freedom to pursue life's higher callings, things of eternal significance. That's our ultimate purpose at Silver Chartist. And you mentioned asymmetric setups. In March of 2020, I was pounding the table on silver miners and uranium miners. Again, in November of 2020, I was pounding the table on uranium miners, and we've seen a big run. Now, there's still a lot of upside in both of those sectors, even uranium. But right now, I think platinum is the one that's really on the launch pad. I mean, could it pull back a little bit here? Yeah. But over the next 1 to 3 years, I think platinum could really do something similar to what we've seen in uranium over the next few years. So platinum offers a very favorable risk reward setup here.
So, for those looking at gold, silver, platinum, uranium, and other commodities, I recommend signing up on the link right there down below to the free Silver Chartist newsletter in the description and pinned to the comments right there down below. And I want to end, Steve, with a couple rapid fire questions. That sounds
Sure.
good to you.
Let's do it.
Okay, number one is when Joe Biden said that the $3.5 trillion infrastructure plan was going to cost $0, and then his press secretary reiterated that, and she said, "We're not mathematicians here, so I don't know how that works exactly." And now there's been a parroting by the media and many politicians that $3.5 trillion printed equals zero. What is your thoughts on
Well, your listeners know, and you and I both know that that's a bunch of BS, and it just lies they tell on the mainstream media. So, to be honest, I don't even listen to them anymore. I mean, I saw those headlines, and I just tune it out. What matters, though, is the perception of general market participants, and I believe they're starting to wake up. And when they do, when generalist investors start allocating just a little bit of capital into these sectors, look out above.
that? Do you believe their rate of inflation of like 5%?
No, I mean, I follow John Williams at shadowstatistics.com, and he uses generally accepted accounting procedures, GAAP procedures, which is the way they used to do it back in the 80s. And if you do that, we're seeing double digit inflation. Now that's actual inflation. So I don't think anyone really believes the 5% numbers.
What's your
It's
guess on
much higher than
what
that.
inflation is?
Uh, my gosh, I don't even know. I'd say 10, 12%. I mean, at least. And certain areas like food and necessities are even more. I mean, my grocery bill has probably gone up 30% in the last 12 months, if not more.
So control what you can control. Right now, there are a
Mm.
lot of great opportunities, and there are a lot of things if we can control our focus and our attention that we can get excited about that do present a lot of great opportunities for all of us. We want to thank you for listening to today's episode. Hit the like button on this video to send it out in the YouTube universe, bell notification to get notified for future episodes. The Silver Chartist newsletter is pinned to the comments and in the description right there down below, where you could sign up for free to that. Learn about the platinum stocks, learn more about what Steve is looking at in gold, silver, uranium, and other commodities as well. That is the free Silver Chartist. So give us a comment right there down below. Let us know something you'd like us to discuss on a future episode. And Steve, any last words, anything that I missed?
No, brother, I think we summed it up nicely and really appreciate you having me on. And we'll talk soon.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. We will see you next time.